Yes.
They're past president.
Glad to see you.
No, you go ahead, you go first. You go first.
I just want to make sure that you look there.
Hold on. Great work.
130 years of tradition here in the county, so we appreciate this. Thank you.
That's the one. That's the one.
Thank you.
Hey, you start Monday, Blair.
All right. All right.
Start Monday.
Perfect. Welcome everyone to our committee meetings for Wednesday, for May 6th. We'll start with Health Services Committee.
Good evening, everybody. We're opening up Health Services Committee meeting at 6:03 this evening. Before we get into our one agenda, we do have a guest speaker here. We're honored to have Mark Molinaro here to speak regarding Think Differently Initiative Resolution. Mark, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Not standing though.
No, you don't, please don't. And I'm going to preface this by telling you that I tried my best to stay in a very succinct amount of time, but I'm just not good at it. So I do appreciate the time to be able to present to you. Some years ago, about a decade ago, while I was serving as county executive in Dutchess County, we launched what we refer to as Think Differently. I'll tell you a little bit about how it came to be, but shortly thereafter, counties around the state of New York began to adopt resolutions establishing and adopting and accepting the principles of Think Differently. I'll explain what that is. But Greene County was one of the first in the state to join Dutchess. We're grateful for that, and that was an appropriate first step. Think Differently was born out of the concept that in 2015, we recognized in Dutchess County that counties under state law are responsible for the delivery of services for those with intellectual, physical, and developmental disabilities. In fact, you know it. Sometimes we refer to them as unfunded mandates, but it's one of the things that counties actually do better than the state could ever do, because we're closer to those that we're serving. Those with disabilities, their families have a hard time navigating the system. And so creating a more welcoming environment at the county level made sense. At the same time, I was well into my years as father of a child born with an intellectual and developmental disability. And I tell the story that I came home one day and my daughter was crying upstairs, and my wife, Corinne, said, "You really have to talk to her." And I said, "Why? What's going on?" And I sat with Abigail in her room, and Abigail said, "I'll never be able to do it." I said, "What is it that you'll never be able to do?" "I'll never be able to do it. My friends can do it. I'm never going to be able to do it." I said, "Abigail, what is it that you can't do?" "I can't tie my shoes, and I'll never be able to tie my shoes." And it was in that moment where, as the dad of a daughter anyway, but as a dad of a daughter who was struggling, and she was pretty, not terribly young at the time, I did what every failing father does. I got down on my knees and I began to tie her shoes. Now, my wife, I think, was hovering outside the door and swooped in and said, "You can't do that. You have to," I swear, this is exactly you have to think differently about the way in which we teach her. You can't do for her the things that she can do for herself. And in the context of this conversation, how do we improve the delivery of services at the county level, whether it's Medicaid delivery or access to other supports, transportation, it became very clear to me that everything we were doing was wrong. We treat those with disabilities and have consistently as second-class citizens. The state creates a system that is just so overwhelmingly complicated to navigate. No matter how good your social services department is, how good the ARC of the region is, it's still a challenge to navigate. So we launched Think Differently as a way of changing the way county government delivered those services. And it began just like that. A single point of access. We launched thinkdifferently.net, a single point of access website, ways for individuals who were seeking services, whether it was county supported or not for profit, could go to a single point of access and find out what was available to them, sign up and go. But then we realized that it was much bigger than that. We had people coming forward telling us that we needed to do a heck of a lot more. And so we thought about how do you change the way in which a community actually addresses those with disabilities? And I say this with no disrespect at all. Usually, you invite a couple groups in, you let them talk to you, tell you what they do, and then you send them back on their way. What we did in Dutchess, and I want to encourage Greene County to do, is change the entire way you think about delivering services for those with disabilities. Everything from, and I'll have Dana Hopkins come up and I'll stop talking, everything from simply sensory-sensitive movies to the first county fair in America to be accessible to those with sensory and disabilities. Dutchess County became the first county fair in America to be accessible and to create a Think Differently environment. And they've been teaching counties how to do that. To playgrounds and parks, to our Think Differently, Think Ahead program, which is an educational opportunity at Dutchess Community College. And what I would tell you is little by little, every time we started to think about what we were going to do, a construction project. I use the example, City of Poughkeepsie puts in a sidewalk. In the middle of that sidewalk is the crosswalk pole that you push the button. How do you get around that? You can't. And so we said to municipalities, you gotta be more sensitive the way you develop them. Building parks. We used to say to folks, they would say their park is totally accessible. We just built this accessible playground. Great. Where do they park? Over there on the gravel. Okay. How do they get from the gravel to the playground? Well, they go across this field. Oh, this field with no walkways. Yeah, that one. And then they go into the playground. Is that playground that's surrounded by the 2x4 that you then put the material in? Yeah, that material's soft. Well, how do they get over the 2x4? I don't know. And so we started to create principles for public works department, social services department, tourist destinations, municipalities that they then use. It's not added cost because we have to meet these requirements anyway. It's just smarter planning and implementation where they started to use these principles to make decisions. And what we created was a more inclusive, more welcoming environment. One of the best things we did was to appoint an individual to run that operation. First, it was a deputy commissioner position. Through some machinations of county government, it's now a deputy director position, a single person who's responsible in looking out at the entire county. I'm a proud Greene County resident, have been for the last almost 4 years now, but in Dutchess County, we had this individual look out in the whole county, everything from municipal projects to concerts in the park, to private entities and tourism destinations. How do we get those partners to think differently, to open up opportunities? Dana Hopkins is now the deputy director for Think Differently in Dutchess County. She knows that she has a less than 5 minute presentation, so she's going to stick to it. And then I'd be happy to answer questions, but what I'm hoping you will do is take the next step. And there are only so many counties that have done this. Sullivan and Ulster have, but take the next step. Beyond adopting the resolution, which you've done, embracing the community, which I know you do, but think about how you can implement the Think Differently principles as a way of ensuring that Greene County is accessible to everybody, irrespective of ability. Dana.
Yeah. Okay, so to start, I'll explain a little bit. Columbia County, Lisa is familiar with Columbia County. They started with a 4-H program to be a Think Differently 4-H program. So for youth that have disabilities, have a specialized 4-H program. We have that in Dutchess too. Putnam County has a position similar to mine. So does Ulster, Rockland, Orange County, Westchester County. But I'm gonna put Westchester County off on the side because they're huge. Even compared to us, they're huge. And they're all doing something. Putnam County just did an autism walk. They used one of their county parks and they did a walk. And they had a whole bunch of volunteer agencies come in and provide activities. We do that with our fitness and field day. We're now going into our 6th fitness and field day. We get our agencies to come in, local businesses, local sports organizations to come in and do a mini baseball, soccer, arts and crafts, animal. Last year we had 4 different things of animals. We had horses, donkeys, 2x2 Animal Haven, and Blue Pass service dogs, which are autism service dogs. We had animals galore at our day. Do you remember field day as a kid if you had it? Wasn't it fun? This is what we do. It used to be the dash. It went into the field day. We get 400 guests at this event. Those are bigger things. As Mark said, a movie. If you have a local mom and pop theater, talk to them about doing a Saturday morning sensory friendly movie. The lights stay up, the volume goes down. You might have to open more than one theater to get everyone in, so there's space. They come and they enjoy it. We've had 200 people consistently for the last few movies that we've had. And we use Lyceum in Red Hook and Roosevelt in Hyde Park if you want to talk to them about how they've done it. I do have a few documents here. One is the list of the contacts in the other counties. If you want to reach out to them to see what they're doing, because everyone is doing it a little bit differently, but the mission is the same, right? I have a list of various activities that have been done over the last 11 years since Think Differently came in. Those that are bolded are the easier grabs. Even starting with your sheriff's department, having the blue envelope program and or yellow dot program. Do you have that?
Both.
Yeah, both. Great. So you're already there. Like you already started something. That's great. We also have Project Lifesaver. You have that too?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So check those three off the list. So let's see. We've done very simple, gotten together with East Fishkill, town of Poughkeepsie. We've done first responder meet and greets, right? Bring in the police, the EMS, the fire departments, all of that. Invite the community to come in. Make it sensory friendly. What does that mean? Don't do the lights and sirens until the end. Any touch a truck event like that. Do the lights and sirens later or at a designated time. A community event. Have an hour beforehand, open it up an hour beforehand for those that have sensory sensitivities to come in and adjust to the environment and slowly work up to the extra sounds. So if there's music, don't start the music for the first hour, right? If there's flashing lights, games, ask those to kind of stay low on the flashing lights and the extra noises and stuff. They get adjusted. Get some cheap Amazon noise canceling headphones, couple extra pair of sunglasses. People are people. They're going to walk out the door and sometimes forget these things. Families usually have them if their loved one needs it. So those are some of the things we do for community events. We also help navigate, help families navigate the system throughout the state. We get calls from all over the place. I had a call from Queens last week. You know, people call because they Google and this is what they find. We help them navigate the different service systems, but that's part of my specific job. There's also Anderson Center right in Statsburg. They do autism supportive environment trainings. Mark set up a grant with them, so we fund them to do it for free for Dutchess County businesses and organizations. There's a small fee for businesses and organizations not in Dutchess County to do these trainings. They'll go in, they'll assess the location, they'll talk to the workers, they'll do a training with the workers, so their environment is more inclusive and accepting of individuals with neurodivergent diagnoses. So, let's see. That was about what I was going to write. I did a little cheat sheet, the draft, a very rough draft of how to create these sensory events and make locations adaptable.
So let me wrap it up with three very quick things. Everything we did, we started to encourage organizations to think about how they would apply these basic principles. ADA compliance, are you accessible for wheelchairs or those with mobility challenges? If it's neurodivergence, are you sensitive and aware of what that takes to interact with an individual? And keep in mind, those on the spectrum now count in the millions of Americans, have a higher degree of independence, and your interaction with them may be a little bit different, maybe a little bit awkward. Are you prepared for that either through training or just making sure the lighting and the navigating the space, everything from banks in the county to, by the way, auto repair shops, all took this basic training because they're interacting with people that they don't often present themselves as having some sort of disability, and you need to be prepared for that. And if you think for a moment that somehow it's not necessary, and I don't think you do. It is. There are thousands of families in the Mid-Hudson Valley. There are hundreds of families in Greene County who even know where to start. They don't know where to begin to get through the Medicaid system to access what happens after special education is done. What about that job-related program? And I will tell you, every family with a child with a disability struggles. I'm going to embarrass Matt Lavera and Sheriff Pete. I'm one of those families every so often, because the way families navigate the system, right, is usually one person doesn't work, because there's no way that two people can work and get through your system, and it is your system between 9 and 5, right? And so we have to give up our lives, and we focus only on trying to get online the Medicaid system or get online with social services. Well, my wife had to be somewhere on a Medicaid related issue. I wasn't home, as you can imagine. And I called the only two people I could think of to see if they could get my boys off the bus. And so Matt did it, I think, once or twice, and Pete, I know, did it once, although my son thought he was getting arrested. It wasn't in his official vehicle. But I only mention it because every family of every background has this challenge. You can pass a resolution, you can support a couple of community organizations, or you can change the way that you actually deliver and interact with those people with disabilities. And that's how I'll close for you. I remember the very first time we did a movie, it was new to us. Why do we do these community events? Because they're not just for the movie. We bring community providers in, so families have a less obstruction interacting, right? A less threatening environment to interact with a service provider, and they can explain what Medicaid waiver means, or what the services cliff looks like when you're done with graduation, or what job opportunities are available. All this is a foreign language to a lot of people. And by the way, for some people, it is a foreign language. Families that maybe speak Spanish with children with disabilities don't have the same access. I still remember a woman trying desperately to explain to me what her problem was. We had to have an interpreter. Very first movie we did, lights up, sound down. Woman comes in with, I would say, about a teenage daughter, severe mobility challenges, in a wheelchair, and braced up. Brought her in, saw the movie. We could tell they had fun. She thanked us. 1 year later, same woman, same person came, individual came. The mother said, "I want to thank you." This is straight out about us, but I want to thank you. Going to that sensory sensitive movie a year ago, the Think Differently movie, gave us the courage to take my daughter to a traditional matinee. Now, there are some bad movies, but none of us need courage to go see them. She and that family needed to work up the courage to go do something that they had not done before. And it was because of that one experience that now she's going out to the movies. I can tell you about the family from Ohio that drove to Dutchess County, Rhinebeck, because the son had never been to a fair, learned about the sensory sensitive day, Thursday, no lights, no sound on the midway. It's actually beautiful. If you ever want to pay to go across the river to that, go Thursday morning, because it's quiet, it's nice, it's friendly. We have ambassadors throughout the fairgrounds helping people navigate. They drove from Ohio to bring their son to a fair because he had never been given that opportunity before. This is the kind of thing that when you take the step from resolution to implementation, those are the kinds of things that the stories you'll hear, because it's that impactful, that powerful. Happy to answer any questions. Dana has promised me she'd be available to all of you and connect you with maybe the other counties. If I could give you a piece of advice and you want to embrace this, establish a small working group or committee, a couple legislators, a couple local elected officials, a couple stakeholder groups, and let them do like Columbia County. Just let them brainstorm and come to you. And I ask you, when they come to you with the first few ideas, just don't say no. None of it's going to cost you much money, and it's going to open up a great number of opportunities for folks who struggle to be and feel included in the community. Happy to take any questions if you have them. If that's appropriate, I apologize. It's your meeting, not mine.
And maybe she can know, contacts on our Dutchess County Fair and the things they've done there.
Yeah.
Because we have our youth fair. I don't know, something that you can introduce, they can look into doing a couple hours of one of the days where, because they have a lot of animals there, which I know are probably very therapeutic.
Animals are a huge thing.
Maybe something like that.
And you've got the fire trucks and all. Maybe the couple hours that there's no lights and sirens blaring.
Yeah.
Vicky and Parati at the fairground side, but who would be a point of contact?
Yeah. Okay.
Columbia County Fair a few years ago, before they put in the sensory space up there. And I walked around with Betsy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I walked around with Betsy, on opening day and just gave like pointers
Okay.
on like what to do. You know, we do it during the day and surprisingly, a lot of the vendors forget to turn on their music, so it actually kind of stays quieter the whole day on Thursday. So if you want a quieter, fair experience at Dutchess County, that's Dave up.
I've talked to some of the board members there and they're like, we come on that morning because it's so nice.
What are some of the things you do for like parks?
So, parks, it started with Julie's Jungle. I think that was a grant.
So, Julie's Jungle, fully inclusive park space, that one's very expensive, but they secured a state grant. We used our community development block grant dollars, the county did, to direct municipalities, if they were going to take dollars for park development, that they would sort of embrace some of our principles. The county planning department actually crafted, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but crafted a sort of a what do's and don'ts for park development. And so I will tell you, the very first time we did this, we were in the town of LaGrange, and I used the example of the gravel to the grass to the enclosed park, and they didn't understand it. And so our planning department had the park director, the town supervisor, and a couple board members lay down on the ground. Now, I don't want to tell you what that looked like if you were, standing on the side road, you see these 7 people just laying on the ground. Why did they do that? Because at the ground level, you're seeing what children see and you're seeing what those in wheelchairs see. And as they looked up, they realized the platforms, the ADA accessible platforms were too high, that you couldn't get through the board to get it. And so we created a set of basic principles that you would apply when you develop a park. Doesn't cost you any more money. I mean, I love going to the parks in Catskill. I really do. But I will tell you, none of them is traditionally fully accessible. And there are cheap ways to get there without undoing things. And as you're building new and adding new facilities and new playgrounds, there's a way to do that. You just have to think about it before you finish up the project. So we had established to our planning department and public works department a set of basic steps that you would do's and don'ts that you would apply.
It's always go into something with the accessible mindset, right? It's gotta be accessible. For some people, it might be easier to think of if you have a stroller, right? Is this gonna be difficult? And you have a double stroller. Are you gonna be able to easily get that stroller in because now there's a 2x4? That's gonna be a little bit harder, right?
I was just thinking of our historic Catskill Point, and we're doing some work down there with veterans already. Maybe looking at something, how do we make that more accessible than what it is now?
I'll offer, as a park, the point is more accessible than others because it is what it is, right? It's a single open space, passive recreation space.
And it's paved.
Yeah.
You need a wheelchair around it.
Yeah, but what I want to encourage you though is that pavement isn't always necessary, right? Stone dust is fine when you don't necessarily need that entire playground behind 2x4s or 2x6s or 2x8s. And you don't necessarily need that. You could create an opening so people can access. The mulch or the ground cover that you put down doesn't necessarily have to be just that mulch. It could be some other material that's not more expensive. It just have to think your way through it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that Public Health has a grant from children with special health care needs.
Oh, yeah.
So we sponsor a children's youth fair every year. It's going to be on the 6th of May. We have tons of vendors and, even though it was a monsoon last year, we had a really, really good turnout. So we're hoping to, think a little different.
6th of June.
June, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, I was like,
And let me offer one last thing.
It's down at the point.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
okay.
I do want to apologize, but branding your events, if you embrace think differently, branding them think differently. Again, it's not about giving somebody else credit. The reason we did that was, you must know this, the Association for Those with Down Syndrome asks for this, the Autism Society asks for that. Everybody within the disability community, it's a very bifurcated, fragmented advocacy. And we said, we want them all on the same page. And you can compete for your dollars because that's what we do. But we wanted one umbrella message for those that are differently abled. And so we call everything, it's think differently, no matter what. And so that embraces those with physical, intellectual, developmental. It embraces seniors or those with that may have lived through brain injuries. And so the goal here was to create a single, sort of messaging brand so that no matter what, people understood what it meant. And by doing that, you help those families navigate more effectively. It's just a much more welcoming. I tell you, and we just put it on the back of buses and people would say, oh yeah, I know that is, and I'm gonna go to the website. And so families and individuals see that, they embrace it, and they appreciate it. It makes it easier to navigate.
One thing I'll add too is that, families and individuals with disabilities are brand loyal. So if a location was welcoming and accessible to them, they're more likely to go back to it.
We used to tell our employers, like, not only, you should feel good about this, right? You should feel good you're doing it, but oh, by the way, it's good business. Families like ours, truly will make a decision for dinner, or for a tourist, if we're on vacation, based on whether or not we can navigate with our child, who's now an adult, and I try not to use her anymore. She's 22 years old, but nevertheless, as a reference, but they will absolutely spend their money. It's good business. It's smart business, because frankly, families are desperate to look for welcoming environments. And if you put that brand on it, people will know it, people will appreciate it, and others will see it and say, oh, you do that too? Grateful for it. So we've taken a lot of your time. But I hope you might take the next step, and irrespective of what I do, politically or public service wise, if there's something that, I'm happy as a Greene County resident to be pulled together a committee to be of some help and support. No, I like it.
Leave just a few of my business cards. Sorry, this was much bigger than I thought it was gonna be. So I just grabbed a handful, and then some of the documents that I talked about are also up there, for you to just look over. Give me a call also if you have any questions, anything like, if you want for the youth.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
We have one resolution this evening, authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health and Hurley Veterinary Hospital Rabies Clinic.
True.
Davis and True. Before we go into this, Hurley, where is Hurley Veterinary Clinic? Is
It's in
it,
Ulster.
did we ask anybody in Greene County?
We begged, borrowed, and pleaded to get somebody local. And
Okay,
If you use New Baltimore.
we did use them. They don't have the staff currently.
Right.
We do have Catskill Animal Hospital both consented to do all of our, decaps and prep our specimens. So they're doing that part of it. Curly's just doing the vaccination.
okay, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Is there anything further to come before Health Committee?
Motion to adjourn.
Rivera and O'Connell, we are closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. I'd like to call county resources to order at 6:30 on the button. We have no action items today for county resources, but we do have Lisa from Cornell Cooperative Extension. Give an update on what's going on there.
Thank you very much. And while I'm setting up, I just want to reiterate what Dana, who has been very helpful to us, please pass them around. This is something made in Greene that we're selling at the Chase New York store, keeping the jobs local, the money flowing into the county, keeping it in the county, pass those around. This is made by Casey Baby, and her company is called Apothic Casey. And she uses, so who else? I'm sure you're gonna have to duke it out.
We're good on this.
Okay.
You're missing free food.
There were 14, I was told 14 that we were gonna bring.
I'll take carries for him.
All right, yeah, take care. Bye, he's closing out. So I'm also gonna pass out just a little update about what we've been doing. Sorry, Matt, because you're the teacher, I joined all the paper passer hour. And so our store, to start with, what you have in there is soap made by a local woman who has her own business. She uses some products from the John family farm and other farms. That is a vegan soap. Some people are allergic to animal products. I was gonna bring you tallow, but we didn't have enough to get it out. So everyone can give these to, as Mother's Day gifts if they choose to, and I won't tell on you, okay? And that's one of the products that we have at our store. You see the sales tax revenue to Greene County this year is reduced by $13,462.78. That is due to a couple of factors. The economy, the reduction in tourists that we had into the state last year, the reduction in travel on the New York State Thruway, as well as south of us, they opened up another Apple Green store that's just 20 miles south. So there's that competition. But what we have done is hired two phenomenal new people leading the store. One comes from working in the food industry for 30 years. The other has a lot of operations experience, and they're really adding more products. So if you look at just what we have happening from Greene County, each year I come and I give you something special. So today you have Apatha Casey. She's one of our newest from Greene County. And our goal this year is to bring in at least 10 to 15 new Greene County producers. So please, you see some of your friends on here. If you know someone, they make something, there's a lot of resources out there for people who are in the fabric arts. So if you have people doing wool, vegetables, fruit, jams, finished products. So please, reach out to us. So the reduction for that sales tax is because of what has occurred. But last year, look, we gave you 37,000, right? Because of our hard work of who? 20 people who live and work in Greene County. So that's keeping the business local. They're spending their money at our businesses in our community. They are paying taxes here as well. And it really makes me feel great because these are also people who are in the New York State retirement system and have a great health insurance. So they're also people who have really great training and educational programming that they're sharing back to anyone that comes in the store about the New York businesses. We're seeing now a little bit of a shift in some of the traffic, and we're doing a lot more outreach. We have our ag educator, Ashley, who is going out to the farms and trying to work with more folks to get more Greene County products in. So that's something you guys can look to on the horizon. Partnerships we've been working on. Hunter Foundation, we just went to their groundbreaking. We'll be doing with 4-H some curricula on agriculture and food systems for the folks that live in the Hunter-Channersville area that want to then work in the resorts and have some certificates that we'll make from Cornell. And it's really exciting, that program. SNAP-Ed, as you guys may know, the funding is cutting out. These are places right now that we are going to give for the next 3 months. We hustled to get some final money for this summer for folks because people are really struggling with the cost of food, and we teach them how to make the most out of your recipe. So if you guys have any organizations that you would like us to go out, there's 7 of us hitting every organization we can, and we go and we do like a 40-minute presentation. It comes with a sample, some recipes, sometimes a recipe book, some other fun things so that people understand. In Greene County, we've received some, in Columbia County, we received some funding to do different food security programming. And I'd like us to look at that for the future. And I'll work with Sherry, who sits on our board, to talk to you in the future about what we can do. Because with our education and food systems, it will be the game changer from people moving through being healthier, the less cost to the economy, and their longevity. And it's really important that we think about how we're going to do that. So as you see over here, we're hitting all the nutrition senior sites. We did Greenville School. We're doing Hunter-Channersville, Carroll Pros. So if anyone has others that you think, hey, go out there this summer, please share what you're doing. We've installed a 3D archery. Who knows? We're installing it. Who knows what 3D archery is? Do you think it's a video game? Well, if you know, you can't. Who thinks it's a video game? No, not us. It's actually where you move through the woods. It's a really cool way to do archery, and it really hones in people's hunting skills. And for our 4-Hers, it's really cool. And we got funding from Bank of Greene County to do it. It's really exciting. We have a new beekeeping club in both counties. Just got our bees dropped off. It's very exciting. Then we heard that there was a bear local, of course, right next to us, but they don't have any honey yet. But that's really exciting to see that because there's such a great bee production in our county. We want to teach the younger folks how to do that, right? It's a wonderful, wonderful way to grow their knowledge. Yes, we are supposed to have one up. As we've had 3 major losses in our organization this year. First, we lost Eric Rasmussen, who, as you know, was an amazing member of our community for about 70 years, and he passed away. And then after that, we lost Jean Thomas, who had worked at DSS for many years and then became a master gardener. She ran a podcast. She's passed away. Her celebration of life is this week. And then we lost Kathy and Anise, who ran a 4-H club for 28 years. Thankfully, Florida Fawn is being taken over by some other wonderful people. So there's been big losses, but each of those people, from Eric to Jean to Kathy, leave a huge legacy of education and environmental stewardship here that makes Greene County a place that people want to come and live, they want to visit, for agritourism, for whatever it is, skiing, for checking out the antique shops, for just engaging in nature. And we want to keep educating our community, young and old. And so this coming year, we're going to have a new maple evaporator. Our old one had lead soldering. If you have one at your house, please don't use it. Lead soldering is not great for the brain. It's another way lead gets into the brain. So they became legal a few years ago. So we've just been doing demos, but we received a beautiful donation from a man named Bob Hamilton, who used to live in the county, to get a new evaporator. So in Maple Fest 2027, we will be producing some maple from local folks, which is real exciting. And then we flip it open. What is coming up? What are we doing? These are all the programs coming up. Now, we're not able to do the building that we wanted to do. You all came with Eric. We thought we were going to be able to build this amazing building, but we're not able to do it financially. And his family is all supporting us, not trying to find more funds. We need to have funds to employ our staff and do our programming. So we're doing something kind of cool this summer. It's on the other side, tent talks and forest walks. So we are inviting all different people that work with us or volunteers to lead an hour educational program on different topics. And this will be a kind of tryout, because remember, when you're at our property in Greene County that Eric and Liz donated to us, and you look out on the northern escarpment of Catskills, it's one of the most magnificent views we have in the county. I'm saying it. And from there, they'll sit at the tent. We got a wonderful deal from our neighbors down the street. And so we'll have a tent up from mid-June to the end of September. So these are some of the classes that'll be there, but look for more on our website. And I just want to speak to what Mark and Dana were saying. I would really love to be involved in that. I worked at Centers for Spectrum. I've done a lot of training with the Anderson School. And in Columbia, we were given some money through the Department of Social Services to do, we have a Think Differently program. I can help out with the fair component. I really think it's important. And we see it also, it's good as a human, but also for your business, because people will come back. We have people that come to visit us at the Columbia County Fair that come from hours and hours away, because our fair at Columbia County is that week, now this week, September 1st to the 7th, but our fair in Greene County, our youth fair is free, so it's more accessible, right? That's amazing. And it takes having a pop-up tent, and we have some stuff we could probably share for that week, and getting some more resources in to do it, because it really does, it's a game changer. And families start, we have a wonderful theater here that's open. I bet they'd be willing to do one of those offerings. And it really is a magnificent way to be in a community that's open to all types of learners. And it really is exciting. And our 4-H clubs are all open, and all my staff is trained at working with people who are neurodivergent and with different abilities, so that they feel welcome. And it's an important thing. So I'm just very excited with everything. It's been a wild few months with the loss and the challenges we're having economically. I will come back and ask for more money, but not tonight. Tonight I give you soap to stay clean and maybe re-gift it to a family friend. It's okay. But we're doing everything we can to keep the green money and the green energy in Greene County. So thank you all so much for your support. Any questions?
I know through your organization, do you guys offer any pamphlets or anything to homeowners, people? I mean, and I'm speaking for myself right now, there's ticks everywhere.
We have a lot of tick literature for community horticulture, yes. And so we have it, we receive it from Agritech, because there's just unfortunately more and more tick-borne illness that affects you different. I'll give a quick example. Many of you have had a tick-borne illness, right, where you were knocked out for a week with a high fever, so you kind of knew, like, you really hit something, hit you, you found the tick. Some of us get it over a period of time, and you're feeling like, okay, I'm depreciating mentally, I'm physical, I'm having all of these things happen, because a lot of these other strains of tick-borne illness impact us over a longer period of time in our brains and our bodies. So the earlier detection, the earlier checking, the better. And then knowing there's a scary tick that makes you not want to eat, that makes you not eat meat, I mean, there's so many, I wish I could say the technical term, the scary tick that.
Alpha-gal syndrome.
Yeah, I'm freaked out about that. So I thought, you know, but these are things that we have all sorts of education programs on. Yeah, and it's the science on it is changing so rapidly that this year we are worried about that one being in this area because it was a big, you know, concern out in the Martha's Vineyard and the Cape. And now, of course, because the way people travel, you know, it's now here, unfortunately. So it's light check every night is very important when you've gone outside because it is one of those things.
Health also had that, a lot of that literature.
I think, I guess my question was a little bit more agricultural plant-based, where people can plant certain things around their houses, like, just like when you find poison ivy in the woods, usually there's jewelweed next to it, and jewelweed is the basically antidote for poison ivy. Get going along those lines.
Right, so there hasn't, and I keep hoping, this was my hope, because I've had various versions of wine 4 times, that there will be more of those sort of knowledge that comes forward, but as of right now, the latest thing I saw was they look like a toilet paper roll, and people, I think they put promethium in them. So it's not, you know, an organic thing, but there isn't even a lot of science back on, is that really working? So they're currently now, I did a documentary on Lyme disease when I was in college at Marist in 1991, and we haven't gotten very far in what are those things, like those bioindicators, those looking at jewelry to the plant life science around it. Our IPM team at Cornell is looking at it. There's a huge group of scientists looking at constantly, but it's morphing so quickly that they haven't yet been able to tie it back to the plant sciences that could create that. In other areas, we have more research, but with the ticks, it hasn't yet hit the mark, as I said.
There's also guinea hens.
Yes, people think that guinea hens will eat all of the ticks. They'll eat some of the ticks. And so unfortunately, it seemed like at one point, this was about 1.5 years of data ago, there was a lot of dog ticks they liked because they're bigger. The smaller tick, when they're in the nymph phase, remember, it's that size of the tiny mole on your hand, is the one that they had here, so that's a hopeful. Any other questions on our program? Thank you.
Thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you, guys. And I'm bringing my box with me. You guys. Do you have some
Recycle.
I thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Couple other items, not on the agenda. We have Patty will be coming in next month with the whole tourism. In regards to our 250th year celebration, she'll give us a complete list of what will be happening among the towns and villages throughout our county in celebration of 250 years. And then this Saturday, the counties are meeting with the board of directors, board of trustees at the college, do an overview of the community college, where it is, where it may need to head into the future. And so hopefully a number of our legislators can attend that. I would consider it a very important meeting. So, is anything else before county resources?
We're closed.
Well, I'll second that. We are closed. Thank you.
I'd like to open up public safety committee meeting at 6:45. First, we have Mark Orlick from Greene County Animal Alliance to give a brief update.
Hi, it's a brief update and continue plea and begging for Greene County Animal Alliance. This is the 3rd time we're appearing here. Our mission is still the same, to build a companion animal shelter in Greene County. We have had some nibbles with the county on property that's available. I'm here again tonight because I think a few things that have changed that might make our facility more desirable to the county. One of the things that's changed is the scope of the project at the Carroll Fairgrounds 17 acres, was, I think, the full site. The original plan had a little over 11 or 12 acres of facilities being built on it. Basically, it was to accommodate the groups that are in the county farm building, the Alms House in Angelo County Park. As a result of the county buying the Marshall Sterling facility, Veterans Group has just opened. That was actually announced online. And the scope for the fairgrounds has been reduced to the mental health facility, a 20,000 square foot building on approximately 5 or 6 acres of land there, which leaves a bunch of property open. And I'll come back to that. Another thing that has changed is the support. We're now getting support. Our usual people, let me thank the people, our friends who've shown up here again. Caro Durham Rotary has rekindled the relationship with us, and they want to do some more events with us. Michelle Hinchy at Animal Advocacy Day, which was a week or so ago, wrote a letter of support for our mission of building the companion animal shelter. And very interestingly, we're now having a reverse request. Columbia County, where Animal Kind is an animal rescue group there, they're having to move their facility to comply with the laws for treating animals in a fostering situation. They need a new place that has cleaner walls, the ability to separate animals. They're purchasing what was the diner across from the the Columbia Greene Community College site. And they're opening up a 10,000 square foot facility there that includes veterinary services. It includes boarding services. They came to us and they felt that the companion animal shelter in Greene County would have, their words, a good synergy for them. We had one initial meeting with them, and we're in the early stages of conversation, but they would like to have a presence back this way instead of the Greene County Animal Shelter, which was in Athens and closed 25 years ago, became Columbia Greene. The college that was in Athens, the medical facility that was in Jefferson Heights, all moving to Columbia County. There is now some desire for the organizations in Columbia County to come back this way and see some beneficial relationship with the organizations that exist here. I think that's a very big change. And the other change that I want to discuss is that we want to buy property. We want to be able to, if there's property now, acreage available at the fairgrounds, we'd like to pay $75,000 for a 5-acre site. The facility that's there, it won't match what was paid for on that site. It comes close. It's not nothing. It's a lot for us. It's the amount of money that we've been offering to other private individuals for their property. Unfortunately, most individuals are looking for pretty much 10 times that amount. The property that is available in Greene County is mostly wetland, or you'd have to bring in so much fill to bring it up to street level. Site preparation is prohibitive. 5 acres would allow us to build a facility there. The mental health facility seems a natural fit. It was said earlier tonight with Mark Molinaro talking about the relationship between people under stress and animals. It's a good fit. Right now, people who need facilities that the Humane Society offers are all leaving Greene County. You're either traveling an hour to go to Ulster County, to the Saugerty site, to an hour to go to Mohawk and Manans, an hour to go to Columbia Greene. There's a story that's made headlines recently. A veterinarian in Warren and Washington counties to our north is also trying to get those counties to open up an animal care center, companion animal shelter there. And the response that she's been getting from the county is similar to the response we've gotten. It's a good thing for the towns. It might not be so good for the county. I want to reinforce that I think if it's good for the towns, it's got to also be good for the county. I think we're at a moment when, again, with thinking differently, where we're trying to change things here in Greene County to attract people who either have neurodivergent children or are looking for things that Greene County has that the surrounding counties don't have. This is a good way to get people coming in. I know there are some issues. We've spoken with Sean before about what the money would look like for opening a facility here. We're not asking for money. We are asking for property, which amounts to a very good savings for us, at which point we can get grants from the state, from the county, from other areas to go ahead and build a facility in Greene County. We've passed out our strategic plan, a multiple year plan for a capital campaign, what the site might look like, how it would operate. The fair that was having difficulty for a rabies clinic. They could get a couple of vets to help with some things, but they couldn't get a full rabies clinic, a traveling clinic, a bus that you sometimes see in Catskill, where they give shots and they can do some kind of animal care. The animal kind is going to hit the ground running. They expect to have at least 6 vets on the site in their facility in Columbia County. And we would like the opportunity to do the same. We can offer those services to people in need in Greene County without making them leave the county, pay the other counties for the services. The same thing with animal control. That's what this veterinarian in Warren and Washington County, she's basically handling all of their animal control issues. We could be doing that for the different towns. Again, 75 grand is a real offer. It's not a lot, but I think I see a smile on Sean's face. Not sure, but I think that's about it. I'm hoping third time is the charm here. If there are any questions that aren't sports related that I might be able to answer, I'm happy to do so.
So the property itself would give you the opportunity, you have that property.
Nobody's gonna fund a dream, but they will fund renovation, site prep, and building if you have the property. And that's been our stumbling block. We've raised well over $100,000 in the time we've been collecting, but we need the property to really advance.
In your strategic plan, did you guys go through a process of an ABC, like A being what you would really like, but would B or C what you could live with to get going?
Absolutely. From day one, we know that we don't have the pockets of other counties, certainly not like Westchester, even Ulster. There are pockets of money, but a lot of that money in Greene County is transit money from ski season, summer. It's here for a while. It doesn't stay here. So yes, we have what our dream facility is, but we know we're not as big. We don't have the needs that a larger county has. And we have our smaller size in the hopes that we can then, once we're operational, we can expand the facility. You know, as the need becomes, as people see that we can fulfill their needs. Again, what's different here is the cash money. And we are not asking for financial support. We are asking for help with getting the property. And thank you again for listening to us.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we get into the proposed action items, Chairman.
Well, I have a proclamation, didn't really want to read it.
You signed them, that's why I figured it's good. My signature's not on that.
You get, Sean Hoteling and, Emergency Services Director. Have a proclamation of the meeting the week of May 17th to the 23rd, 2026, as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical service is a vital public service, and whereas emergency medical service teams throughout Greene County are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical service fills healthcare gaps by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. Whereas the emergency medical services system consists of responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of the emergency care services team in Greene County agencies, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. Whereas it's appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of Greene County emergency medical services providers by designating the Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, in recognition of this event, the Greene County Legislature do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th to the 23rd, 2026 as Emergency Medical Services Week. And further, we recognize and thank the many members of the Emergency Services Medical Team throughout Greene County who meet critical emergency medical needs of our communities. It is with great pleasure that we honor these dedicated professionals and extend sincere gratitude of our citizens for their skilled, selfless, and compassionate service. Thank you to our EMS coordinator.
He's gonna be there.
On Saturday, so whoever's able to show up at that. Thanks.
Okay, Sheriff. Unless you're not prepared.
Good evening, everybody. Sure. All right, so for the month of April, we made 32 civil attempts, served 16 civil papers, issued 177 traffic tickets. Deputy Cook behind me is a major contributor. Investigated 14 traffic accidents, made 55 arrests and 7 DWI arrests. We handled 652 calls for service and made 536 traffic stops. On April 1st, the starting jail population was 41, and as of April 30th, it was 39, the high for the month being 45. Corrections officers did 45 transports, traveling 1,407 miles, totaling 306 hours, moving 52 inmates, and we have 1 state-ready inmate in our custody. In addition to it being a very busy month, we had a few interesting cases. In one case, Sergeant Ray Femmel and Deputy Daniel Cook, behind me, responded to a call of a man trapped under a Jeep with full weight of the vehicle on his chest. Both Sergeant Femmel and Deputy Cook jumped in and assisted the members of the Kiskatown Fire Department in lifting the vehicle off the man. who had been without oxygen for a prolonged period. The man was then airlifted to Albany Medical Center where he remains in critical condition. The actions of the volunteer firemen, along with our deputies' assistants, gave the subject a chance at survival that he would not have had if they weren't there, so.
He squeezed
you.
his wife's hand.
I'm sorry?
He squeezed his wife's
I
hand.
heard that today.
Oh,
I
yeah?
heard that today, so it's great news.
Right down the road from him.
In another case, Deputy Storm McGinnis responded to a report of an unconscious, unresponsive man not breathing. When she arrived, she observed a man attempting to perform CPR on the victim. Storm applied her AED, which advised no shock, continue CPR. Storm then took over CPR and noticed that the victim was purple and his eyes were open. When she looked at his eyes, she realized that they were constricted, so she thought there may be another issue, possibly related to medications or drugs. She had the other subject continue CPR while she ran to a patrol vehicle and obtained her Narcan. After administering 2 doses of Narcan, the victim started to respond. He was then transported to Albany Medical Center, and he is expected to make a full recovery. So they've been running quite a bit this past month. 3 of our deputies also traveled to Washington last week in April and inspected the new boat. They were also trained in its operation, and it is being shipped as we speak. It should arrive here next week, and I hope to have it somewhere where you can see it for the next week.
BSS Kuzinski?
We'll call it something. I don't know.
Pictures.
Call it something. Yeah, that might be more. As far as our Martin, SS Martin. As far as our resolutions tonight, the first is an authorization for Deputy Dustin Rogers, the Greenville School District SRO, to travel to Orlando, Florida for the Greenville High School senior class trip. This trip is being paid for by the school, so there's no cost to us, and it's one that he's traveled with them before on several occasions. The second one is the purchase of bulletproof vests. There are 22 of them that are expired and need to be replaced, and 15 new ones. We will be reimbursed for half the cost through the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership by the United States Department of Justice. So half of that will come back. That's all I have. Any questions?
A great job over Community Day as well on Saturday.
Thank you. We participated in numerous events that day, and we were stretched pretty thin, but we're busy. We got to them all. Thank you.
I talked to Kyra and I also talked to the sheriff. I was getting multiple calls about a pedophile that moved into Haynes Falls, and people wanted to know about it. I mean, yes, they finally went online and found out about it. But I was under the impression, which is half right and half not, that the contiguous neighbors of a pedophile would be called and notified that the person was coming into the area. And I guess there's certain ways that you can do it if it's legal, but I think it's kind of, I mean, I feel strongly about that. I think the county should call and tell them. I mean, especially if they have small children running around or being in the area. I think the community should know about it.
They can actually register to get notified. Your zip code.
So we have, if I may, we have a contract with Offender Watch, which does all the community notifications for us, as do all the surrounding counties and law enforcement agencies. We're currently monitoring over 118 in the entire county, and they do move around quite a bit. What we're mandated to do by the Sex Offender Registry Act is to notify those vulnerable entities, which are defined in the act, schools, dispensaries, daycares, several of them. The minute we change their address, Offender Watch sends notification via email to each of those entities. We do not currently notify neighbors. The act basically says in close proximity of small children. So who determines close proximity? That we may, it doesn't say we shall. We certainly could, and if we knew of somebody who was particularly vulnerable, we would probably personally make that notification. I do have an investigator, that's all he does is for sex offenders. He visits them all every 30 days. He, there's certain things we are limited to regarding their level of offense, which, speaking to him, actually, some of the level ones appear more dangerous than the level threes to him. So, but level ones, we are very limited as to what we can release. Level twos, a little bit more. Level threes, we can release everything. So, it's certainly not a problem. I wouldn't, mind looking into that. I would have to consult the county attorney on a potential policy that would be reasonable. The question is, what's the proximity? A lot of times we won't know who's living in the third house from, and if it's in a village, we might be notifying, hundreds of people. So we've got to find a way to do that. The app is amazing. And it's linked right to Offender Watch. And you can put notify me of status change, put your email address in there, and every time one moves, you're going to get a notification. So, I think if we educate people more about that app, it's a great tool. I think Aaron may have a way for me to get on the website, but I don't know if I can navigate it from here. But there's several tools that we employ to put their pictures out there. We notify people all the time. So up in your case, I think it was the superintendent of schools. I think it was the only one. Oh, and probably town supervisor, maybe this bus. I don't know, Hunter has some buses, right? So.
At one time, I came before this body when I was not a legislator, and there was a building in Tannersville that housed 5 families. 4 of them had small children between the ages of 2 and 10. And pedophile was put in there by the county. And he was someone who raped a 6-year-old child. And these people didn't know about it. Most of them moved out when they found out, but that's the kind of thing that, it's pretty, to me, it's serious. I don't think.
Yeah, I definitely understand your concerns, and I share some. I wouldn't mind talking to the county attorney about some potential other avenues. Or maybe I could put a link on our site to give us your information and we'll register you. It might be a little bit of work intensive, but maybe there's a way we could do it that it wouldn't be so cumbersome as for us going door to door, because sometimes we don't know if there's children in the household or not, or some of these hotels have different occupants every day. So, but yeah, I definitely see the concern. What do we do?
How many days do they have when they move from one place to the other before they notify the investigator? They moved. 10 still?
I think it's 10 days. Yeah, I'd have to read it, but I'm pretty sure it's 10 days. But he's on top of it. Right. Yeah, that's all he does. He knows them all by face. He goes to their homes, he goes to their appointment. With level 3, we can actually release their employment, their address of employment. Level 2, we can't do that. Level 1s, we can't do. But anything we can do to comply, I'd be more than happy to put a little more effort into making sure we do.
So then on your level 3, then are you releasing?
We release everything on every, anybody legally that we're allowed to release, so not the level 1s, but the level 2s and level 3s, if you go on. I'm gonna pull that up. Yeah, if you can get to it.
So that's a useful tool
So
for
that-
any homeowner with children?
Anybody can get this.
Okay.
So if you go on our app or on the county website, okay, yeah, go to sex offenders and you'll see this. And there should be a section down there that says, search registry or check registry.
Offender watch.
Yeah, the offender watch. So you can put a name in there, an address in there, and you'll hit search, and so if you put in the address of, say, Stewart's up in Rains Falls, you'll see him. I think it's 6125. Yeah, type that address. 617, that's not too far up.
It's nice,
60.
50. That's his ID number. I don't have it.
I got it. Oh. Yeah, you can put his name in there. You can put the same thing. Let's see. I wish I could cast the app to the TV, but we figured that we can't do that because the app works much faster. Most of you have it, but if you hit the sex offender thing, you're gonna see a map pop up with everyone in the county. If you click on one, you're gonna get, you're gonna get the, what's your now, it's Gordon, so you'll get the picture, the address, an actual aerial view of his house. And then click on his face, it'll blow up, full size. And if you put your child's phone number, child's phone number in Offender Watch, which is the next section of that, and that your child comes anywhere within one proximity of one of these houses, you'll get an email. It's an amazing tool. It's a nationwide product, and it works extremely well. It's a great thing to have kids are going out trick or treating or something like that, and they're beautiful in the house, you'll get notified that they're close by a sex offender. So the tools are there. I think it's just a matter of educating people how to use them and then get them all registered.
Maybe you could, do something with the schools where you could send out literature, to the parents so they know about it.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you that.
We have, whenever we go to an event, whether it be a school or wherever, it's right on, it's actually, we have a QR code, you just take a picture of it and it puts it on your phone for you, so. We're trying to get that out there, but it's funny because I go to those events and by the time I come back around, they'll say, what happened? But we could try to help people, right? Maybe do some more target specific presentations to schools. So it was good for us to be here.
And also for Amber alerts and.
Yeah, if you hit push notifications, you're gonna get everything that gets sent out. You get Amber alerts, weather alerts.
Yeah, that status of that sex.
Status of that sex offender. Yeah. It's a great tool, just like I said, a lot of people don't know about it, forget about it. But thank you for that.
Thank you.
Rabbit hole.
All right.
Hmm.
Ed and I are gonna talk soon.
Thank you, Sheriff. Carol?
Good evening, all. First, the monthly numbers. EMS 574, fire 144, police calls 1,628, unknown 612, total calls 2,958. The inbound calls into the 911 centers 2,926, mutual aid EMS 52, and fire 7. Hazmat team, we have one call in the town of Carroll. I have no resolutions for this evening. A couple months ago, I told you I was going to send out a survey to all the fire chiefs and see what kind of, how many personnel we have. Out of the 27, one company did not reply. I tried several times. So these numbers are coming from the chiefs themselves. So throughout the county, active firefighters, 826, interior, 369, exterior, 380, fire police, 122. I asked to have it broke down by age as well. 18 to 31, there's 122, and 32 to 50, 186, and 51 and over, 93. Moving forward on another, this past month, I met with the new fire district, Haynes Falls, Tannersville Fire District, 2 times. I think we both, on my side as Director of Emergency Service and also the new fire commissioners. We're exploring a new avenue. We sat down for a few hours to discuss the first thing that they need, which they don't have yet, is their federal ID number. It was, I myself, as Director of Emergency Service, had to take all their documentation, the resolutions and so forth, well, along with my letter to send up to the Office of Fire Control, saying, yes, this is the process that's going. I met with the commissioners. And we're still waiting for the FDI number. Probably when the commissioners, or I should say the taxpayers of those two districts, had that vote, and the commissioners then knew that it was going to happen in the fall, last fall, we probably should have jumped on it then. So we sat down, we talked about, what their procedures will be when it's, once we get that number, we need that number to put into the CAD. And then once we put that into the CAD, then we can start putting their procedures that they're requesting. At the current time, we're been dispatching them as two separate companies still. And what might come down out of from the town of Hunter, by the sounds of it, don't know for sure, but the Hunter Fire Department is building a new station as well. There was some discussion that they're thinking of joining that same fire district. So I think as we move forward in the future, I think consolidation is going to continue to pop up and move forward. So I wanted to certainly mention that to all of you of that procedure. The other two items I got is I had the opportunity to talk to Greg Fox, who's the teacher at Quest R3, who delivers the fire science over there. One of the rules that they started, and in the future in regard to the EMS and fire, that they certainly, especially in the fire, want to make sure that we have 30 students. You remember the last 2 years, they started with, I think it was 8, and last year they were at 10. I'm happy to say that they have enough students now. I think they're at 31. So next year, that course will continue to move forward. And my last thing I wanted to just mention as well is, as I mentioned, the stipend that the firefighters get for completing certain courses. 2 weeks ago, the governor moved forward to add, I'm not sure how many, it was close to 10 or 15 more courses. So it certainly is an advantage and because of that stipend, our classes are full with a waiting list. So, we're continuing to deliver that. I know over the next, right to the end of June, in the second week in July, our fireground, the training facility is being used 3 times a week. So it's really is working out. Other than that, that's all I got for this evening. Any questions?
John, just one thing on the 911 center, that fire suppression system.
Yes.
Did they begin installing it or?
No, we have to open up bids in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And as soon as we get through that, we'll be coming back for, moving forward, and we want to get that completed as soon as possible.
Gotcha.
I did hear the new Hunter task force found out as well, and it's a big savings in time.
Yes. We started that, believe it or not, about 10 months ago. We went to, we met with all the town of Hunter fire chiefs and assistants, and they asked if there was a way to do each of those 4 tones. And each tone takes about, I'll say anywhere between 20 and 30 seconds. And when you have a working structure fire, and it's taking up a considerable amount of time. So between Neil, Jimmy, and myself, we met with them several times. And the four chiefs sat there and said, well, what's the shortest that we can do? And the bottom line is, let them all have the same tone. Okay? And believe it or not, as we got into this, they all agreed. And I said, this can't be happening. So we came back a couple of months later because we were having some radio upgrades being done and so forth. And, we said, hey, look, you have to wait until we get, the backup center and so forth. I said, no problem. And, they said, I think it was in October or November, the four companies came together at Tannersville. And they said, John and Jimmy said this is gonna start January 1st. Well, obviously, it didn't start till maybe a few weeks ago or a month or so. And they met with all the members. And they said, this is the way it's gonna be come January 1st. And so now we're in test mode just to see how it's working. And that's exactly task force, And it seems there hasn't been that many calls, but there is no question. We have another fire district that wants to go with their neighboring. They've been practicing for a few years, going to all the fires. They want to do the same thing. So it's so we're using the town of Hunter really as to see how this system works. And they came up with their own protocol, because once those 4 tones go up, the control center, that's all our responsibility. We're not going to tell what truck to go where. And chiefs are getting on the radios, getting back and forth. So it is working. And how it came about, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's certain people that aren't on the mountaintop. There may only be one at Firehouse A, and they know who's around during the day, who's not. So that's how it came to be. And so we'll see in another month or so how it's going to go. So other than that, things are changing, just like everything else. And you can say that the 911 center is working well. We had the backup 911 downstairs updated a little bit, radios, and I think life's moving forward very well. So, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, moving to the action items. Excuse me. Number 1, reappointing members to Stockton WI Board of Directors.
Handle.
Over. Handle, Hobart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 2, authorizing out-of-state travel for Greene County Sheriff, SRO, Deputy Dustin Rogers. David Martinez, and Menudo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 3, resolution authorizing appropriation for the Greene County Volunteer Firemen's Association.
Handle.
Hobart. Martinez, Hobart. Handle. Menudo. Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Number 4, budget amendment authorizing purchase of safety vests for Greene County Sheriff's Office. Menudo. Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 5, budget amendment, Greene County Public Defender, Division of Criminal Justice Service.
Handle.
Handle. Linger. Handle, Linger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Anything else come before public safety?
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Howard. You're opposed. When time is ready, we'll move to special finance. Need special for. Ready? Call to special finance committee in order. Resolution authorizing appropriation. The Greene County Volunteer Firemen's Association. Hendrick, Martinez, Sarah. Ready? In favor? Aye. That's carried. Thank you.
Any other business come before this?
Motion for close.
If not. We're closed, thank you.
Rivera?
Sure.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Let's find that room. But we'll have to Joker with all. You know, because I saw my next. There's people around, people.
You touched the peak, and I was touching Chris down the stairs. Yeah.
It was called people in from the road. Jim.
Good. All right. Call special legislature meeting number 2 for the year 2026 to order, and ask everyone to please rise for one of the special. I mean, the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All that, the exception of legislator left.
Whatever, see that. You want to remove? You have to.
Okay. And with that, we can move right into the resolutions for these.
Resolution 172-26, resolution authorizing the chairman of the Greene County Legislature to enter into a payment in lieu of pilot agreement with LFE Monasteros LLC. Moved by legislator Davis and seconded by legislator, Chairman.
And it's a roll call.
Legislator Lucas.
Aye.
Legislator Rivera.
Yes.
Legislator Martinez.
Yeah.
Legislator O'Connell.
Yes.
Legislator Dorrington.
Yes.
Legislator Tru.
Yes.
Legislator Lewis.
Aye.
Legislator Davis.
Aye.
Legislator Handle.
Aye.
Legislator Hobart.
Yes.
Legislator Lanudo.
Nay.
Legislator Light.
Aye.
Chairman Linger.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8,039 ayes, 1,236 noes, and 1 absent of 725. For a total of 1,940 noes.
Thank you. Carry.
Resolution 173-26, resolution authorizing appropriation for the Greene County Volunteer Firemen's Association. Moved by legislator Martinez and seconded by legislator Davis, legislator Lang, legislator Lewis, legislator Tru, legislator Lanudo, legislator Rivera, and Chairman Linger.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Now, special meeting. Need a motion to go into executive session. I gotta vote there.
We make a motion on that, another meeting.
So what do we have so far?
Work.